This is the king of New Zealand Great Walks, the Milford Track, also often called the finest walk in the world. It is the most famous of New Zealand Great Walks and possibly the hardest to book. But after 14 years of dreaming about this trail, I finally made it. And honestly, it was more beautiful than I imagined. Towering mountains, lush beech forests, swing bridges and dramatic valleys. Milford Track is a non-stop postcard. And because the weather on day 3 was looking questionable, we made a pretty wild decision to climb the iconic McKinnon Pass a day early. That meant doing it on day 2 and again on day 3. Yes, we hiked that pass twice. It was exhausting, but totally worth the effort. Let's go. This is the Milford Track, the king of great walks. Getting to the start of the Milford Track wasn't the easiest thing. First, we took a shuttle from Te Anau to Te Anau Downs. The ride was approximately 30 minutes. Then we transferred to a water taxi from Te Anau Downs to Glade Wharf, which took another 1 hour and 15 minutes. Milford Track is probably the most famous great walk and is also known as the finest walk in the world. It is super difficult to book. It was said that it sells out within 30 minutes from the time the booking system opened. Our experience was that the system hanged twice at the time of booking, like it went haywire, and then it kicked everyone out of the system and we had to restart the booking process. But in the end, we managed to get our slots even though the dates were not our first choice. The Milford Track is 53.5 kilometers one way and can only be walked in one direction. Yes, only in one direction from Glade Wharf to Sandfly Point. So when you book your huts, you only need to select the first hut, which is the Clinton Hut, and it will auto-select the remaining huts. You also cannot skip huts, although I think you can still pay, but choose not to show up at the first hut to reduce your trek by 1 day. Although I don't know why you will want to do that. This also means that you will be seeing the same groups of people for all 4 days of your trek. Milford Track is also my 14 years wish fulfilled. So back then, I first visited the South Island with my BFF and we took the Milford Sound cruise. The cruise was beautiful. And then I thought to myself, there should be more to this place than just a cruise. So I did some research and saw the Milford Track, and it has been on my bucket list since then. We always knew that there were guided walkers for the 3 great walks that we were doing, but this became very apparent during the Milford Track. There was them, the guided walkers, and us, the independent walkers. And on day 1, we pretty much walked past the Glade House, which was their hut. If you ask me, I will always choose to be the independent walker, but of course, everyone has their preferences.
Yes. Wow. Woohoo!
The Clinton Hut was big and spacious, both outside and inside. There were 40 bunks split into 2 rooms, so 20 bunks each. So if you do the math, only 40 independent hikers can walk the Milford Track each day. I call the Milford Track the king of great walks. Not only was it the most famous and the most difficult to book, but all the bunks for the Milford Track huts were also single bunks. And the huts had the least number of hikers per day as compared to the other great walks. The dining area was like the usual, nice and spacious, but we didn't hang out in the dining because the weather was so good and we just sat at the benches outside. The toilets were in another block a short walk away. And considering that Milford Track is one of the wettest inhabited places on earth where it rains 182 days a year, there was a 50% chance that you will be wet when going to the toilets. The King of Great Walks also come with a hut warden tour. The hut warden was Lynette and she was so cute. She brought us around, talked about the place, the animals, showed us the plants, and told us about the conservation efforts. Super informative. So if you were thinking of skipping day 1, why? Just come here and enjoy the nature.
They got the chicken and beef, very luxurious. 哎呀，这边看不到，就这样。
After dinner, when the sun set, you can take a short walk, like a really short walk of 5 minutes to see the glowworms. There were so many! Sorry for our bad video and photo skills again, but you can definitely skip the glowworm cave at Tianu if you are doing the Milford Track. We still didn't manage to figure out the settings to take the Milky Way and stars, so this was the best we could do. No words can explain how special it was. It is just something that you have to experience for yourself. Day 2 was to hike from the McKinnon Hut to the Mintaro Hut, but we had other plans. The weather forecast for day 3 wasn't looking too good, so we set off really early with plans to head up to McKinnon Pass on the same day and then back to Mintaro Hut. The Mintaro Hut was new, just rebuilt in 2021. It's very pretty, very comfortable, and has double glazed windows. The same 40 bunks were now split into 4 rooms with 10 bunks each. The layouts for each room were similar with minor differences, and we picked the whale room because we didn't manage to spot any whale at the Irisburn River. Because it was a new hut, there was a shelter to the toilets. Mm, 14 mm rain tomorrow. Got some energy left? Consider an afternoon walk up to the Mackinnon Memorial. Allow 3 hours return plus time spent on the pass. Please depart Mintaro no later than 3 p.m. and leave the memorial no later than 5 p.m. to begin your descent. This will have you back at Mintaro in time for the Hut Ranger head count at 7:30 p.m. This is for your safety. This part was totally optional as this was part of the trek for day 3. Not everyone did the extra, but knowing us, we did it anyway. I would say that maybe about 25% of the group or around 10 of us did the extra hike up, simply because we were unsure about the weather the next day and we wanted to see the McKinnon Pass in good weather. Let me show you what the McKinnon Pass shelter looks like. Surprisingly, it's quite a big shelter with lots of space and seatings inside. There's even a stove. And check out the views from the window. There's also a water tank outside to collect water. So yes, you can choose to bring less water when heading up to the McKinnon Pass. Wow, you can see that is where we walked in from today. We were too tired to do a food review that night. My legs were dying and I was so tired. We ate and listened to the hut warden talk at the same time. In summary, the beef stroganoff was alright. The cheesy mash was quite good, although you will need some skill to make sure that everything was rehydrated properly. For the first time, the hut's lights out before we went to bed. We were dead late because of the extra hike to the Mackinnon shelter.
Hey, kiwi, kiwi, there's a kiwi.
The McKinnon Pass today is giving off a totally different vibe. This is the highest waterfall in New Zealand.